The leave it better habit. I want to tell you about a deceptively small habit that changed not just how I function, but how I feel about my space, my time, and even myself. It's something I call the leave it better habit. At first glance, it might not sound like a productivity tip. It's not flashy. It's not something you can download or track with an app. There's no timer involved, no system, no checklist. But it's one of the quietest, most powerful things I do every single day. Let me explain. For most of my life, I had a pattern. I would let things slowly unravel around me without even noticing. A dish in the sink turned into 3. A hoodie draped over a chair became a mountain of laundry. My desktop had 39 screenshots and 11 PDFs named final3.pdf. You get the picture. It never felt like a big deal in the moment. I'd always think, I'll deal with that later. But the problem is, later usually came when I was already exhausted, stressed out, or emotionally overwhelmed. And suddenly, a few messes became evidence that I was falling apart. My outer world mirrored my inner chaos, and vice versa. Then, one day, I came across a quote. It said, "Leave every room a little better than you found it." It hit me like a brick. Not because it was new, but because it was true. And because it felt doable. So I tried it. Just one day. The first moment was tiny. I walked into my bathroom, noticed a few stray hairs on the sink, grabbed a tissue, and wiped it down. That was it. I didn't declutter the cabinet. I didn't deep clean the tile grout. I just made that one spot a little better than before. And something weird happened. I walked away feeling calm, capable. Like I was finally steering the ship instead of just floating around, hoping not to crash. So I kept going. Every time I left the kitchen, I'd wipe down a counter. Not the whole thing, just a section. When I stood up from the couch, I'd fold the throw blanket and fluff the pillow. If I passed the dining table and saw a crumpled receipt or empty mug, I'd take it with me to the sink. Nothing heroic. Just little acts of restoration. And here's what happened over time. My space got cleaner. My mind got clearer. And I started to see myself differently. I wasn't the messy one anymore. I wasn't the person who couldn't keep up. I was someone who showed up, who left things a little better, who respected their space, even if that space was just a cluttered corner of a tiny apartment. It wasn't just about tidying. It was about identity. Now, let me be clear. This isn't about perfection. There are still days my sink is full, or my floor is dusty, or my workspace looks like a paper tornado came through. That's life. We're human. But this habit isn't about keeping everything perfect all the time. It's about momentum. It's about micro moments of control in a world that often feels chaotic, and it works anywhere. When I'm leaving my car, I take the water bottle or coffee cup with me instead of leaving it in the cup holder. When I close a browser tab, I take 2 seconds to close the 10 others I opened and forgot about. When I finish journaling, I place the pen back in the drawer instead of tossing it on the bed. Tiny things, one breath long. But over time, they add up. And maybe the most surprising part is how much emotional weight they've lifted. There's something powerful about knowing I don't have to overhaul my entire life to feel better. I can just make one small thing a little bit better than it was 5 seconds ago. That's manageable. That's realistic. It's also contagious. Because when I leave a space better, I tend to treat the next space with more respect. It becomes a ripple effect. My room feels better. My work feels more intentional. Even my relationships improve. Because when you stop living in a state of low-key overwhelm, you show